Yo, if you found this video, it probably means you got ADHD, right? Today, we're talking about how cognitive behavioral therapy can drastically improve the quality of your life, especially if you have ADHD. Before I learned about the CBT technique, I was constantly battling my brain's tendency to have negative thoughts and emotions. Although I still have my bad days, it's a lot less than before. So, CBT, or cognitive behavioral therapy, is a pretty simple and easy to learn technique, but it has the power to completely rewire your brain and change your thought patterns. Yo, so when I was first learning about cognitive behavioral therapy, I was actually going to a therapist, and she was kind of telling me exactly what I needed to know about how to change some of my behaviors using this method. I was like around that time, while I was kind of practicing this technique, I started rewatching all the Star Wars movies, and there was a scene in that movie where Yoda's talking to Anakin Skywalker, and Yoda's like the Grand Master of the Jedis or whatever. So this dude has like highly developed intelligence, and he's just a wise man, right? When he was talking to Anakin, he was like, "Yo, fear leads to anger, which will lead to the dark side." When he was talking about that, like, it just kind of clicked, because that's kind of what my therapist was telling me during some of our sessions. So how is this all related to cognitive behavioral therapy, right? So there are all these, cognitive behavioral therapy is based on this triangle. So on the top of the triangle is your thoughts or your behaviors. On this side of the triangle is your feelings and emotions, and on this side of the triangle is your behavior. And all three of these are interconnected, right? All three of them are connected to each other. Now, the crazy thing is, one can affect the other. So if you have a negative thought and a negative feeling about a certain action, you're less likely to take that action. Even if it's like something you really wanted to achieve, like it's part of your goal, it's something that you really want, you won't be able to do it until you change your thought, which will affect your emotion or your feeling, which will then affect what actions you take. So let me give you an example. Let's say that one of your goals is to do well in math this year, but you have like this negative self-belief that you're not a good mathematician, you're not good at math. That belief will actually affect your emotions or your feelings. So whenever your teacher gives you a test, or like you gotta go do your taxes or something that involves math, which is called this is called like the activating event. Like if you got a test or some homework, that activates your belief system, which says I'm not good at math, which then goes into your feelings or your emotions, which says, hey, we're feeling kind of scared, we're feeling anxious, right? So you want to avoid that negative feeling, so your actions will not be to do the math. Your actions will not be to like be curious about how to solve this problem, or like curious about like how much money am I going to get back on my taxes. It'll be like, hey, let's avoid this, let's not do this, so we can avoid this fear, and we can kind of still maintain our identity of like, I'm not good at math. So what happens over time is, slowly, year by year, you don't do your math homework, so you don't do well on your tests and in your classes. So your belief system of I'm not good at math keeps getting reinforced, and then it creates like this vicious cycle where every time you get math, you avoid it, therefore you never practice, you never learn it, and your belief system, I'm not good at math, will like maintain itself. And this is really bad, especially if it's something that is like more detrimental. Maybe, not even just like something as I'm not good at math. It could be something like I'm fat, or like I'm unhealthy, right? If you think you are a unhealthy person, or like I'm always going to be fat, or I'm always going to be unhealthy, then you're less likely to get healthy, because you won't take the actions necessary to get out of that unhealthy lifestyle into a healthy lifestyle, right? So let's say that you wanted to work out, and you got to wake up in the morning. Well, your belief system says I'm not good at working out, I'm not a healthy person, so you got some fear around exercise. Maybe you don't want to go to the gym because you think people will make fun of you, or whatever the case might be. And so over time, you avoid the gym, you avoid eating good foods that are good, healthy for you, because you want to eat food that you're comfortable with, so you never kind of escape this like vicious cycle of unhealthiness, and this vicious cycle of not getting good at math, or not getting good at finances or not getting good at relationships and all these things. Now, the thing that's really, really sad and really like crappy about having ADHD is like our emotions. I mean, we're really sensitive, right? Like we really, really feel our emotions, and that's part of that is because of the our prefrontal cortex is not as well developed, or it doesn't develop as quickly as normal people, so it takes a long time for us to like become emotionally mature, right? So, you know, especially if you're a younger person and you're dealing with ADHD, then this cycle is even worse, because you know you can't regulate your feelings, so you're less likely to do actions that make you scared or do actions that make you uncomfortable, because you know your fear response or your anxiety response is really strong and you really feel it because you're sensitive, right? So the main thing you got to do when you do cognitive behavioral therapy, because you know you want to fix this vicious cycle, right? The main thing you want to do is you want to just pause. You want to just take a break. You want to just think about your feelings and your thoughts, examine them right before you're about to do some actions, right? And my therapist kind of says like you got to create some space between your thoughts and your feelings and your actions. So like, you know, maybe an ADHD person would have a triangle like this close, right? So thought, feelings, action. Like I'm gonna avoid doing what I gotta do, right? But you can actually increase the space between these, right? So now you have a thought, you have some time to think about your thought, and then you have time to think about that feeling, really be logical about it, and then take your action, right? And how do you know, there's several methods to do that, but the first thing is to like realize it's a process that's, you know, happening all the time inside your head. And another thing you got to realize is like there are like certain habits that form inside your brain to where you're going to be doing things when an event gets triggered, right? Like if someone says something and you automatically act, that triangle's really fast. It goes like this and you're acting, right? So you want to think about those events that trigger your behavior pattern. They're called activating events. Now, once you start figuring out what your activating events are, like it could be the fact that someone gives you a test, or you know your teacher puts up like a piece of homework on the board, or like it's tax season, or whatever it might be, right? Figure out the trigger, and then like kind of like recognize the thought pattern that goes through your head, because it's like so automatic you might have missed it if you're not really thinking about it, right? So if there's things that you're avoiding, really think about this triangle. Create some space. If you gotta meditate, it's a really good move. I'm really bad at meditating. I used to be good. I need to get back into it, but that's one of the best things you can do. You want to create some space between the thought, action, and behavior. So about 2 years ago, I read this book. It was written by this Navy SEAL. His name is Mark Divine, and this dude was talking about this idea of there's two entities inside your head. There's the actor and then there's the observer. Most people have not developed their observer. They're just acting. And what this dude was saying was, he was just basically explaining how to do breathing exercises to win in your mind first. So he was kind of teaching in this book how to create a stronger version of the observer. And this observer is the person in between the spaces between your thought, your action, and your emotion, right? So if you can observe yourself thinking negative thoughts, observe yourself feeling certain things, and you can observe yourself doing actions, you have a better chance of winning. And Mark Divine actually calls this winning in your mind before you go into any battle. And you know, I don't go into any battles. You guys probably don't go into any battles, but you know, we have these little battles, right? Like inside our heads. Like, you know, maybe it's a math homework, or maybe it's doing your taxes, or maybe it's going to the gym, or eating right, or whatever it is. Win inside your head first. So create an observer, practice meditating, practice like observing yourself doing these things, because they become automatic, right? Anyways, hope you guys enjoy that video. I hope you guys kind of learned something from it. I hope I did a good job explaining this idea. It is one of the most simplest but most powerful things that I think you'll be able to learn to control yourself, develop discipline, and get what you want out of life. All right? I'll talk to you guys next time. Thanks a lot. I love you. Bye. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If this is your first time here, I'd love for you guys to subscribe. If you like this video, you can hit the like button to support the channel, and let me know your thoughts on the comment section. Thanks again. See you next time.